I am so obsessed with this show. I think it was so interesting to watch each person's journey and particularly yours. When it was pitched to you, was it an immediate yes or did you have to think about it for a while?
No, I definitely didn't think about it a while. Dr. Terry and I didn't know Michelle was going to be there, but just the entire experience of being able to reapproach and rethink beauty standards is something that I'm very much into.
There was a lot of heavy stuff going on this season, but you were still able to bring like lighthearted comedic tones to scenes, especially when you were, in your scenes with Dr. Dubrow. What was it like to work with him?
He's literally like the funny. I could tell like the that someone like me could make him feel uncomfortable. So I was like, you know what? Let me take him out of his comfort zone of like, I know exactly how to perform miracles on you and just pull him out and be a little more lighthearted with him because when he laughs, it's just like he can light up a room.
They had such a great trio kind of helping you guys work through
It was a
everything or working
very healthy, safe environment, and on a show that's dealing with topics that are as big as beauty standards,
Mhm.
and a lot of times there's trauma behind a lot of that, sometimes very serious trauma. You really have to be in safe environments, and I think that this show did the best job I've ever seen at creating a safe environment for the cast, and I've been on a lot of reality TV shows and I haven't seen safety in a long time. So it was refreshing.
As you were filming the show, Diddy was arrested.
He got arrested. I can't believe this. The first man that ever thought I was a star in my life gave me my career, made me a platinum selling artist. I didn't end up getting to be the human I probably was very capable of being because he told the world something and everybody ran with it.
And shortly before the show premiered, his trial was happening. Would you say that what you learned in the retreat helped you in any way as the trial dominated the news cycle earlier this summer? And if so, how?
Well, I ended up having to cover it for iHeartRadio. So I was in New York live covering the trial, which was a whole different experience than the other victims that I know, other people that I know that were involved in his enterprise that tried to tune it out or were able to tune it out. I didn't get relief from it for many months. The outcome was disappointing, to say the least.
In the show, you talk about how abuse led you and your some of your other co-stars as well to cosmetic procedures. What does it feel like to finally take that power back?
One thing I want to be clear about it, I'm not sure if the show described that or this or not, but you go in and get whatever you get done. You choose to do that. It's the industry and the standards, powerful men, the way that women understand. We are mirrored back by the people in society that look at us most. That happens to be men. Our understanding of our value comes through a man's eyes, usually at a young age, and we're very socialized in our country, specifically as women in many different areas. I mean, we don't even have full rights and
Mhm,
equality in that legally. So
mhm.
there are a lot of things as women that we go through. The industry just puts it all on steroids times a few other hard drugs, ketamine and whatever else. It's just a really hard dose of like having to move quick and having to move at the snap of powerful men or from a man's perspective of what a woman should be, and that's why you saw a lot of us in that show discussing those types of traumas that led each of us to then go in and get procedures. Nobody forced us into doctor rooms. There are men that do that, however. Diddy, according to Cassie's testimony, being one of them. I don't have a family. My dogs can't talk, or they probably would have been warning me earlier on. But I was just I see myself back through the eyes of the doctor then who's telling me, "Oh, more of this would be look so great." And you just don't realize how much you're overdoing it until you're able to be in the hands of proper professionals.
I do want to talk about your conversation with Kathy. It seemed like you kind of went into that conversation thinking you two could almost bond over this shared experience of working under these powerful men who've been accused of abuse. You quickly became discouraged when she started defending Hugh Hefner.
My heart is getting discouraged talking to Kathy because she's making me feel like I'm going to end up just like her at her age, normalizing abusers and saying things like, women of your generation are kind of asking for it. God.
What's going through your mind at that moment?
Well, I was specifically triggered that day because, there's a group of journalists and people that all had kind of a tight relationship once Homeland Security started reaching out and speaking to different people, all kinds of different people, lawyers, etc. And there were all kinds of conversations happening, and like, if it wasn't going to happen soon, it wasn't looking like it was going to happen. And there was like a lot of disappointment in the air that day. And then to go into scene with this new woman that just came in, and she just starts, saying a bunch of things that were highly triggering on a day that I really thought justice was just not possible. And I've lived my whole life and I've received a lot of blacklisting, a lot of opportunities gone right out the door the second that he said, "You're fired."
Right.
And then said for being raunchy and promiscuous, which now I think the whole world understands. If I were and had been at that time, he would have loved me. Those types of things opened the door to then I had people that said they wanted to sign me. You're the biggest thing in music, would have me come in, sing, perform, do all kinds of ritualistic shit, and then be like, oh, I just got a call. Like, I can't touch you. Sorry. Like, it was all these things just to like humiliate me. And the next guy through the door was Hugh Hefner that told me Diddy's nothing. He's not even really known. I'll open the doors for you in all kinds of different ways. And I moved on to the next person who, yes, was accused, unfortunately passed. So we didn't get to see any fruition of that. Not like fruition is that great nowadays. But, I think that I spent a lot of my life and a lot of lost and missed opportunities. And I'm a really smart girl and I'm really deserving. I'm a good person. I treat people good. And I know how to do what I do very well in every area. So it was a loss for what I could have brought to the table in many situations. They said the glass ceiling in my mom's day and age. I don't think they use that term as much anymore, but literally, like, I felt like at one point, many points in my career, that I'm just running up against walls. And I'm like super fearless. I'll knock it down. I'll face whoever is on the other side. If my friends can't do it or these people are scared, put me in, coach. I got it. And those are the type of people they definitely don't want having any voice, because those are the people that are not scared to use it. As a journalist, we're starting to see consequences when you speak up against certain uh, enterprises.
Yeah.
And you're seeing Stephen Colbert lose his job. You're
Mhm.
seeing The View being held. You're seeing a lot of people that speak out and had a lot of bold messaging, and there should be a place for all the messaging. I didn't have any problem with anyone that's ever opposed my messaging. I don't mind seeing it out. I don't mind seeing people support it. I really don't even mind becoming friends and having conversations with people that don't think like me. But don't take away my ability to think and say what I feel. That's
Mhm.
something completely different. We haven't seen that under any presidency in my lifetime. We do now.
You have this experience and you're not just somebody coming into it who doesn't know what happened. You've experienced it firsthand.
Worked for Diddy during the era in which his wealth grew to extreme degrees. A very significant piece of chunk of that making the band era was there. Live in action. I don't know. I was the soulmate to the president's son at one point. I've been in all the rooms with all the people that are running the conversation right now. I know how they think. I know what they say behind everybody's back. I know what they say about each other.
It seems like you're not afraid to go out there, say your truth, say your experience. Are you ever afraid? Are there ever moments where you're like, maybe I shouldn't say that, or you're nervous about an outcome or pushback or anything like that?
When I was younger, I was more like reckless. Nowadays, two things I'm starting to notice. One, during you have to remember, oh, obviously I've known about this behavior for a very long time. I've been warning everyone for about 20 years now that this is not a safe person to work with. It just was falling on deaf ears because no one wanted to hear me saying it. When the Diddy stuff started, when Homeland Security started coming around and other things started occurring, and I started kind of getting in the cycle of that situation that was developing, when all the world was just buzzing along thinking that he's a great guy and nothing was coming, thinking that he just gave all their artists their publishing back and he's the greatest guy ever. That was like the last article the news was fed on him, which wasn't true. And then that took up a period. There were times during that where I was aware that physical danger was a reality. When I was on the phone with another fellow band, not in my band, but from a band previously that he created, Babs. I don't know. She's the one of the ones that walked to Brooklyn to get the cheesecake.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's what they're known for, which is coercion, live on television. MTV loved doing that back in the day. But anyway, so they I talked to Babs, and there was a time where I was dating Praz from Fuji's, and he kind of gave me a call. He would always be my center. Like, I'll be like, am I being a Karen? Do I sound like a Karen to you? Am I doing way too much? Most of the time it was yes. There was one time where he was like, you could amp it up a little. And that's when I got this butcher knife, and I was on the phone with Babs, and I was making her like screen record all these unmarked cars that were outside on my block. I know how to look for certain things based off of certain things that I've had to learn in life. And there were unmarked cars around me for a bit that seemed suspicious. And I don't know how much danger there ever was, is, or isn't. I mean, we saw 2 victims drop out during jury selection.
Right.
Clearly there were things moving and shaking on all sides. But there I've been aware multiple times in the past couple years that physical danger is a real thing.
Important to hear from everybody and anybody who has a platform, basically. And I know I would sit here and talk to you about this all day. Will you be on any other shows? Do you have any plans to be on other shows? Where we can find you, where we can listen to you, where we can hear all of this?
Right now, what I'm working on is getting through, I was documented during this whole process that we've been discussing. So I'm looking for that and sentencing to be over with so that I can understand how the system is systeming,
Mhm.
really get a good understanding of who has the power and who's protecting what,
Right.
because there are so many pieces I've learned over the past couple of years as I've placed everything out that I've seen and that I know. And then where I'm safest. And then from there, I don't know. I think the network that I'm on right now should put me on Traitors. I think I'm like a easy pick for the past couple, maybe not couple years, definitely this year they should have picked me. But I don't know. Whoever's that systeming over there and just doesn't quite see it for me on Traitors, you're tripping. The whole audience thinks I should be there. So at this point, if you work at NBC and someone next to you doesn't quite see it for Aubrey on Traitors, give them a look and a kick in the shin, because that's where I think I should be television wise next.